They told us the end would come in fire, in wars, in nations tearing each other apart. But what if the final sign was not division? What if it was unity? What if the most shocking end times prophecy Christianity ever carried was hidden in plain sight, misread, misunderstood, and almost erased by fear? Because right now, across the world, something unprecedented is happening. Borders are dissolving. Beliefs are blending. Humanity is being pulled, slowly, irresistibly, toward a single global consciousness. And here's the unsettling truth. The earliest Christian mystics warned of this moment, but not in the way modern prophecy teachers tell it. Tonight, we're uncovering the rise of global unity, why early Christians saw it as a cosmic turning point, and why its true meaning may challenge everything you were taught about the end times. This is not a message of panic. This is a message of awakening. Long before charts, timelines, and apocalyptic countdowns, the earliest Christians read the end times very differently. In the first 3 centuries after Jesus, the word most often used was telos, not meaning destruction, but completion, fulfillment, a crossing from one state of being into another. Clement of Alexandria, writing in the 2nd century, warned that the final age would not arrive through chaos alone, but through a strange harmony, a time when humanity would begin to think with one mind, yet risk losing its soul. Origen, one of the most influential early Christian theologians, echoed this fear. He taught that the Antichrist was not merely a tyrant, but a counterfeit unity, a false oneness that mimics divine order while severing humanity from inner truth. Where many are made one without wisdom, Origen wrote, there lies the greatest deception. This idea was quietly buried as Christianity became institutionalized. Unity became good. Uniformity became holy. Obedience replaced discernment. Yet the book of Revelation itself whispers the warning. All the world marveled and followed the beast. Not because they were forced, but because it felt right. Early Christians feared a future where humanity would be united externally, through systems, symbols, and shared language, while becoming internally fragmented. A world with one voice, but no silence. One body, but no spirit. This is why unity was never automatically seen as salvation. It was seen as a test. And that test is unfolding now. When most people hear the word Babylon, they imagine a fallen city, crumbling towers, burning streets, ancient ruins swallowed by sand. But the early Christian mystics saw something far more unsettling. To them, Babylon was not a place. It was a pattern, a way of organizing reality. Hippolytus of Rome, writing in the early 3rd century, described Babylon as the world arranged without God, yet appearing godlike. Babylon was a system that promised peace, order, and prosperity, but only if humanity surrendered its inner sovereignty. In Revelation 18, Babylon is described as ruling over all nations, trading in gold, souls, language, and identity. This is not ancient poetry. It is symbolic precision. Babylon represents a global structure that unifies the outer world, economics, culture, communication, while hollowing out the inner life. Augustine of Hippo later refined this idea in the City of God, describing 2 invisible cities. The city of God, built on inner alignment with divine truth. The city of man, built on shared desire, fear, and control. Both exist at the same time. Both grow together. Babylon is what happens when unity is achieved without transformation, when humanity becomes one body, but not one heart. This is why Revelation says Babylon falls suddenly, because systems without soul collapse from within. The danger is not global cooperation. The danger is global conformity. And this brings us to the most misunderstood figure of all, the mark. Identity, attention, and inner sovereignty. The mark of the beast has terrified generations. Numbers, chips, symbols etched into flesh. But the earliest interpreters understood the language differently. In the ancient world, a mark was not merely physical, it was a seal of allegiance. The Greek word charagma referred to an imprint, a brand on coins, documents, and even the mind. Hippolytus explained that the mark represents a way of thinking impressed upon the soul. Revelation places the mark on the hand and the forehead, action and thought. What you do, what you attend to, what you identify with. The mark is not about technology alone. It is about surrendered attention. When your identity is defined by systems you do not understand. When your thoughts are shaped by constant external input. When your worth is measured by visibility, approval, and compliance. The mark is already forming. This is why the warning is subtle. No one could buy or sell without it. Not survival. Participation. The mark governs belonging. The early Christians believed the final test would not be violence, but convenience. Would humanity trade inner freedom for frictionless unity? And this leads us to the question that truly matters. How does one remain free in a world moving toward oneness? The countersign. How early Christians prepared for this age. The early Christians were not obsessed with survival. They were obsessed with clarity. While the world searched for signs in the sky, they trained the inner eye. The Desert Fathers, mystics like Evagrius Ponticus and Anthony the Great, taught that the final age would belong to those who could remain internally still while the outer world accelerated. Evagrius warned, "When the mind is scattered, deception enters unnoticed." Their preparation was not bunkers or weapons, it was attention discipline, silence, fasting, not only from food but from noise, watchfulness over thought. They believed the true seal of God was not visible but recognized, a resonance, a way of being that could not be replicated by systems. Practical technique. The watchful mind. Once a day, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Observe your thoughts without chasing them. Notice which ones demand agreement, urgency, or fear. Release them. This trains discernment, the ability to sense when unity is coercive rather than organic. The early Christians believed the elect would not be those who resisted the world violently, but those who could not be absorbed by it. And that brings us to the final revelation, true unity versus false oneness. The choice of this generation, final revelation and closing invocation. The end times were never about the end of the world. They were about the end of a way of being human. The early Christians believed history moves in spirals, not straight lines. Each age reaches a moment where humanity must choose between oneness of spirit and oneness of system. Jesus' prayer in the Gospel of John was not for uniformity, that they may be one, as we are one. Not merged, not flattened, but united through inner alignment. True unity preserves uniqueness. False unity erases it. Augustine warned that the final deception would feel like peace. The world will call it harmony, but it will lack love. This is the paradox of our time. We are closer than ever, yet more inwardly divided than at any moment in history. The prophecy is not unfolding to us. It is unfolding through us. Every moment you choose awareness over automation, stillness over noise, truth over agreement. You step outside Babylon. The end is not coming. It is revealing. And the question the early Christians believed every soul must answer is this: will you become part of the unity of systems or the unity of consciousness? The choice has already begun. If this teaching resonated, stay with us. The ancient path is not lost. It is simply quiet. Subscribe to the Temple of Hidden Keys, because not all who awaken will be loud, but all who awaken will see.